how deep can you go? How, in your loving yourself. How gentle can you be? How compassionate? I mean, I believe I was led to compassionate parenting because I didn't have compassion for myself. I didn't grow up with a lot of compassion. And I also want to speak to another myth called self-soothing. So sometimes you will hear in certain and so you will hear people talking about, the child has to learn how to soothe themselves. And what I want to say about that is, who said that? Who is saying that? Because you want to really think about where it's coming from. Who is the person saying it? Are they calm? Are they kind? Are they loving? Are they okay with feelings? Are they okay with, how are they with conflict resolution? And all that kind of stuff. You want to really check the source. Yes. How do they live their lives? How are their relationships? If you know them. True. Yeah. Because the truth is, a child isn't going to know how to self-soothe unless they've been soothed. So when somebody says to you, let your child cry it out, or let them cry themselves to sleep, or just leave them, they'll be okay, I want you to think about brain development, and I want you to think about emotional intelligence and compassion, because no child is going to know how to self-soothe unless they've been soothed. And when a baby is born, their brain is really tiny, and the way that their brain grows is through relationship. It is a relational organ, and all of the neurons and that are there, the connections are made through. It only takes one primary caregiver that is present to this child for their brain and all of the neurons to connect. So please, that is a myth.
Amen. It is a myth. And I think that it's time for parents to start questioning, as you said, where is this coming from? When was this idea developed? Because then you look back, and a lot of those things were said when women were starting to get out of the house to go to work. Yeah. They were needed on the workforce and things like that. And so it makes you question, wait a minute, who is this serving? And I think that's a powerful question for parents to remember. And also tap back into your own connection with your heart, as we've been talking about, because you'll find a lot of the answers there. Mm-hmm. And so we've been bombarded with experts on every level of things.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it's great to have somebody who you trust after you've trusted yourself.
Yes. And you might get a result sometimes when I've spoken. It's usually in the first class that I teach, and there's people that haven't been exposed to intentional, compassionate parenting, and they'll be like, well, I'm fine. And then by the second or third class, they're like, I was thinking about that, and when I was little, that didn't work for me, and I see how I want to shut my children down. I want them to just stop crying or stop feeling, or it's just, and so what I want to say is that, yes, if you say to your kids, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about, or that's enough, no more, the thing is, you may get the result, but what is the cost?
Yes. On a deeper level, on the level that you don't see.
Exactly.
Because physically, the crying has stopped. Internally, we don't know what those tears that were not actually brought out, what they're doing inside, what that repression is doing. Right. And we see it throughout, I feel like we see it throughout the whole world. As we were talking, we're numbing ourselves. And I say we as a general concept, but people have a hard time sometimes sitting with their feelings.
Oh, absolutely. I used to. It took me a long time to be able to tolerate my own discomfort and not wanting to, jump or fix and to, I believe that's part of spiritual maturity as well, as being able to tolerate. And I'm not talking about pain and suffering. Yes. I'm talking about just that emotional, which can be really hard and pain. It feels very painful. Yes. And but the ability to really be there, witness, to be a witness, to be an enlightened witness, and it leads to the. I want to say, the epidemic of bullying that occurs in our society, that's been permitted to occur. When you think about politics, there's an enormous amount of bullying that goes on. And it crosses all lines. We have all that. And so it is really important to ask questions, ask uncomfortable questions, be willing to be that much of a champion for your child, to ask questions when a quote-unquote expert presents information to you. Be willing to say, where did you get that information, and where can I learn more? And remember that if there's an expert that's standing in front of you that says, you have to do this right now, then say, why? Why do I need to do it right now? Let me do some research and I'll come back.
Yes. It's the reshifting of power. That's
don't you cry? That is a puppy.
That is Mochi in the background.
Little Mochi.
We have Mochi here too, giving his thoughts on compassionate parenting. I guess we're not being compassionate enough at this moment, so he's letting his voice be heard.
He's so funny.
It's so true. And this is what this is all about. It's the reclaiming of our personal power.
Yes.
It's the reclaiming of our connection with each other.
Yes.
It's the reclaiming of the truth that lies inside each one of us. And if we take the time to just not repeat and go through the motion of things, if we take the time to take that breath and reconsider, oh, what a space you find. And I want us to be here to help people realize that.
Yes.
From this moment on, from this opportunity to talk and have this conversation and just bring all of this back. Because maybe for some people this is all new. Oh, I never thought I could just wait a minute, take a pause, take a breath. I don't have time to take a breath.
That I could say to a quote-unquote expert or authority figure, I just want to do a little more research and I'll get back to you. Or my child doesn't learn that way. This is the way my child learns.
Yes.
What can we do about it? Instead of shame is a huge tool of control. And it's used in so many ways in our society. And it is about really feeling like you have a right to question and say, wow, I didn't learn that way. That didn't work for me. And I can see it's not working for my child. So I would like us to try this. And remember that as the parent, you have that power. They are your charges. You are their mentors. You steward their bodies and their minds and their souls. You don't own them. You are the steward. And it is your opportunity to heal yourself and to be the parent that in some cases you wish you would have had, and to really be gentle. And I'm not talking about abdicating responsibility by any means, because it's a big responsibility to be a conscious, intentional, compassionate, open-hearted, mindful parent.
Yes.